Hi students! Today we are going to learn how to make a pop-up landscape of your choice. In these few examples, I've made a desert, I've made a forest, and I've also made a volcano landscape. A landscape is a scenery that you can find from the nature, and usually in landscape you can see mountains, rivers, forests, stones, ponds, and etc. So I want you to think about what kind of landscape you want to create. Do you want to create a desert, or do you want to create a jungle in a hot country? How about snowy mountains? In this lesson, we're going to learn how to blend different colors together, and then we are also going to create some landscape elements to fill up our space. We're going to learn about background, midground, and foreground. These are the elements that we look at when we are talking about space. A space is the area that exists between the different elements like the house and the tree, or between the volcano mountain and the stones. So let's get started. So to make our landscape artwork, you will need a full piece of art block paper. We are going to fold this into half. And then you open it, you will have a line in the middle. This line will act as a horizon line that separates the sky and the land. Then from last week, remember the extra piece of paper that we had? We are also going to make use of it to create some landscape elements to paste on the land. Then you need some paint to paint our background. If you don't want to paint your background, you could use some crayons, color pencils, or even color papers to put colors in. Then you need your scissors and glue and brush, and you need your color markers or crayons. I'm going to put this smaller piece of paper aside first. Let's work on our sky and our ground. For the sky, you can think of the different colors that you want for your landscape. For example, a desert landscape would have a very warm and hot sky color, something like orange and yellow. If you choose to do like a snowy mountain, a snowy landscape, you want to have some very cold colors in your sky, maybe like purple or pink. And for myself, I think I want to go for a bright, happy sky. So maybe I want to use pink and yellow. I'm going to prepare two colors, and then later on, we're going to learn how to blend them together. Okay, my colors for my sky is ready. I have pink and yellow. I added a little bit of white to my pink just to make it a little bit lighter. You can add white to your colors as well if you think that it's too dark. I'm going to start with the lighter color, which is the yellow. So for my lighter color, I plan to use it at the bottom part. Oops, I forgot to put newspaper. Oopsie. Let me just put the newspaper first. Okay, so like I said just now, I'm going to put the lighter color at the bottom. You can put it on top as well if you want. So I'm just brushing it in one direction only. This is so that the brush strokes is clean and tidy. And see, I'm painting on top of the folding line that we created just now. Okay, so I've painted half of the sky with yellow. Next, I'm not going to wash my brush. I'm just straight going to take the pink and start painting on top of the yellow. I'm slowly dragging the paint downwards to blend the yellow and pink together. I'm going slowly going downwards. And there it's blended. And then I'm just going to paint the top part. If you find it hard to blend, you just need to add water. And of course, you want to use a big brush for this, because a big brush would be faster. Okay, let's plan a little bit. What else do you want in your sky? What kind of landscape is your artwork about? I think I want to make a landscape that has like mountains in the background. So maybe I want to add some clouds. So for the clouds, I'm going to use white. And then I'm just going to kind of using a dabbing motion to dab on the cloud. Kind of like cotton candy. Again, dab on. Some tiny ones behind. Okay, later on when it's dry, I'm gonna add some birds, but it's wet right now, so I don't want to do that. Next, I'm gonna paint the ground. Let's see, what kind of ground do I want? Because mine is going to be like a mountain, I think I'm gonna paint it gray because of all the rocky roads. But again, for your artwork, it depends on what kind of landscape you want to create. If it's a forest, you want your ground to maybe have some grass. You could also even think about whether you want to have a river or a pond in your artwork. Or if you plan to do a desert, then your ground is going to be full of sand, and sand is usually brown or yellow. Actually, you know what? I think I want to create a volcano erupting over here. So for my ground, I'm just gonna use some red and some browns. I'm gonna mix these two colors together and see how that turns out. Again, you don't have to follow the colors that I'm using because our landscapes are going to be different. Your idea is going to be different from my idea. So because I'm doing volcano, I want my colors to be on the warm side. If you're doing like snowy mountains, then your colors are going to be on the cool side. Again, it depends on what your idea is. Here I'm mixing another brown on top of on this reddish color, just to give it a bit more depth. I'm really just playing around with the colors. You'll also notice that the colors that I'm using for my ground are all quite similar. They are all on the red-brown side. Okay, when you're done with your painting, you want to put this aside so that we can work on all our landscape elements. While you're deciding what elements you want to include in your landscape artwork, you want to think about space. You want to think about what's behind and what's in front. For example, if you look at this piece of artwork, you'll see that the mountains are the ones that is most behind in the background. You will see that the tree is the closest one to you, and you have all these tiny grasses kind of in the middle. I also have this river on the ground. And let's look at this one. This one is a desert theme, and you have sand mountains in the background, and in the foreground, which is the closest to you, I have some smaller rocks and also a pyramid and some cactus. So this is the direction you want to go for when you're brainstorming for your elements. Let's consider what kind of objects or elements that you want. For example, if you want to create a forest, you would need to have a lot of trees. Or if you are creating a snowy mountain, maybe you want to have a blue mountain with ice covering it. And maybe you want to think about creating an igloo or even Eskimo. For mine, because I'm creating a volcano, I plan to create a huge volcano at the back, and then towards the front, I'm going to build some tiny houses and some lava rocks on the ground. You can do this with a crayon on the art block paper, or you can directly cut out using color paper. I'm going to use crayon to draw it out and then later fill in with colors. I'm going to use a dark color to start my volcano drawing. I'll use this straight line as a guide. Just draw my volcano, a huge one. Thicken the line so that it's easier for me to color later on. So like I mentioned just now, you can use color markers for this step, or if you want to use color papers to cut out your landscape elements, that's fine as well. I will have some lava flowing down. If you have the time, you can do some color blending after you finish your drawing. Color blending is basically using a color that is going dark, medium, light colors. So you see here I use a dark red for the outline, a bright red for the color, and an orange for the light part. This will make the lava look a bit more 3D, like it's really popping out. Then I'm going to create a few more rocks, my lava rocks. Then I'm going to draw some tiny houses. I'm going to use blue colors so that they later on pop up from my background, because my background has a lot of warm colors. Once you're done creating all your landscape elements, let's just cut them out. And my background is already dry. Let's give it a fold again. Now, before we stick them down, we have to fold a tiny fit at the bottom for us to put our glue. So just place your drawing like this, and then at the bottom over here, just fold upwards a tiny bit. And with this fit, this is where you're going to put the glue and then stick it down on the paper. And then this thing will be able to stand. So just fold the feet for all your drawings. Then you kind of want to play with the arrangement and decide where you want to put your elements. Let's say I'm going to put my rocks in front. My tree is over here. My house is going to be here. I'm going to use a red color paper to create a stream of lava flowing down on the ground. So if for your artwork you want to create like a lake or a pond, you can use blue color paper or green paper, or even white. That would work. I'm going to use a marker to draw the shape of my lava first. Let's see how I want my lava to flow. With this extra piece, later I'll just cut it off after I stick everything down. So just apply the glue on the tab over here. Hold it down to let it dry for a bit before you let go. Then I'm going to stick my lava. You could also stick it slanted like this. When you're done sticking everything down, you can go in and add details or textures using crayon or color markers. It's up to you. I added some birds and I added these lava lines in my stream. And there you go, it's so simple to make a pop-up landscape artwork. In this lesson, you learn how to blend colors together. And you also learned about space. You learned about background. So the background are the elements that are furthest away from us, the viewers. The foreground is the area that is closest to us. And the midground is the area that is in between. I hope you enjoyed creating your own landscape work. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.